You guys, today I'm at Greenwood Cemetery in Clarksville, Tennessee, once again. It's a beautiful cemetery. I was here before to do a video on the grave of Frank Sutton, who played Sergeant Carter on Gomer Pyle USMC. But I came back today because over the weekend I was with my daughter and she told me a story about a little girl named Jackie Beard. And it was a terrible, sad story. There's a funeral going on over there, guys, so I'm going to try and be quiet because they're not too far from me and it echoes here. You know how that is. It's like a canyon. You say anything loud and it echoes. But this poor little girl, what she went through. So, poor Jackie, she was 9 years old when she was killed by an evil monster. He not only killed her, but he also raped her. He kidnapped her and raped her and then killed her. It's a terrible, tragic story, but, I looked on YouTube to find anything I could about Jackie when my daughter told me about her, and I couldn't find anything. So I decided I wanted to come out so I can remember her. Sorry, that funeral's right there. I don't want to... We'll go by her grave, and then I'll tell you some more. This is the grave of Jacqueline Annette Beard Meyer. I think Meyer is her mother's maiden name, or maybe married name, I'm not sure, but it's on the grave. It says up here on the angel wings, Jackie, because that's what they called her. And below it says, our angel is blessed. These two angels right here on the grass, I put those there so I could move them so you could read the stone. I'm going to put them back before I leave. But poor Jackie, this evil man, first of all, just so you know, this man has been sentenced to death. And he is on death row currently, and hopefully he stays there until they follow through on a sentence, because he totally deserves to be there. Anybody that evil to do this to a little girl. So, on Find a Grave, what it says is little Jacqueline Beard was kidnapped, raped, and murdered by William Glenn Rogers on July 8th, 1996. Jackie was only 9 years old when Rogers posed as a police officer to gain her trust. Police believe the girl was abducted near her Montgomery County home while picking blackberries. Her body was found by deer hunters 4 months later in the Stewart County portion of Land Between the Lakes. I was at Land Between the Lakes on another video of mine, and just so you know, it's all woods. Everything there is woods. It's a beautiful area, but it's totally full of woods. In Nashville, Tennessee, January 22nd, 2000, William Glenn Rogers was sentenced to death for kidnapping, rape, and murder of 9-year-old Jackie Beard. Actually, it was January 21st, because this was written on the 22nd, and it says yesterday was sentenced to death. So on January 21st, 2000, William Glenn Rogers was sentenced to death for kidnapping, rape, and murder of 9-year-old Jackie Beard. He had posed as a police officer to gain her trust. Rogers, 37, was convicted Monday of 1 count of premeditated first-degree murder, 2 counts of felony murder, 2 counts of kidnapping, and 1 count each of rape of a child, aggravated sexual battery, criminal impersonation, and impersonation of a police officer. On March 5th, 2000, it was written, he had already been sentenced to death for the killing of 9-year-old Jackie Beard, but William Glenn Rogers yesterday received an additional 48 years for kidnapping and raping the girl. This little girl's story is so tragic. So, she was playing down by a mud puddle with her older brother, who was 12, and another cousin. And they were playing by this mud puddle on the day that she was kidnapped, it turns out. But beforehand, they were playing together there, and this man walked up to them, offering them fireworks. He said he was an undercover police officer, and he gave him a fictitious name. So Jackie went home and told her mother about this man, Jackie's mother went back down to see this man, and he gave her the same story, that he was an undercover police officer, and the other kids were playing with the fireworks he gave them. So Jackie's mother went back home, and Jackie came with her mother. Her mom had a doctor's appointment that day, Jackie's mom, and Jackie said, "Can I go out and pick blackberries?" She wanted to bring a bunch of blackberries to the doctor's office, and so her mother said it was okay. She was ready to go to her doctor's appointment and called for Jackie outside, and there was no answer. So she got in her car and drove around. She walked all over the place, couldn't find her, and that's when they called the police. Jackie was never seen alive again. But in the meantime, she gave details to a sketch artist who sketched this man's image. It was posted in the Clarksville newspaper, probably on television too, although I didn't read that. But through the sketch, at least in the newspaper, a lot of people came forward and gave him the name of this man, who they thought it was. And it turned out to be her killer. So the police investigated it. He gave him a bunch of lies, told him, kept changing his story. Eventually he tried to tell him that, okay, he did see Jackie and he accidentally backed up and rolled over her, killing her. And he took her body and threw it in the Cumberland River. They searched up and down for her and couldn't find her. So 4 months later, hunters are over at Land O'Lakes in the forest there, and they found skeletal remains that turned out to be Jackie's. There wasn't some parts of her were missing, but there was enough there to determine that she was never run over. However they determined that, but they did. They also found her clothing nearby, including her underwear that had semen stains on it. They couldn't test the semen stains, it was too decayed, but they did find also carpet remnants from this evil man's car. So those carpet remnants were from carpet fibers from his car. Through all this and more, they were able to determine what happened to Jackie. That he kidnapped her, as I said, he raped her, and then he killed her. They couldn't determine the cause of death because of the time that went by and what was left of her. They couldn't find her complete body. I think they said they couldn't find one arm and one leg, and they think animals probably removed those parts of her. But the remainder is buried right here, and this is Jackie's spot. Unfortunately, sadly, this is where she will forever rest in peace, away from this evil earth. I don't understand anyone. I don't understand evil in anyone. How? Why? Especially to children. A little girl. Beautiful, beautiful little Jacqueline. Any child. Why? I'll never understand that. It'll never make sense to me. So he had gotten the death sentence for this case, and he appealed, saying he didn't have, what is that called when you don't have good counsel? They always try and appeal on that, lack of good counsel or whatever, and they were questioning the evidence in the case. So his death sentence was overturned. I think it was in 2020, and it was handed back down to the lower courts for resentencing. The lower courts ended up upholding the death penalty on resentencing. So he is still sitting, and that was in 2022, just a couple of years ago. So he is still on death row, and I hope he gets what he deserves soon, because he shouldn't be sitting there with, eating taxpayers' food and going to play in the gym or whatever they do, while this little girl is laying here like this. This is not the American way in my book. So, anyway, that's Jackie's story, and it's so sad and so tragic. And there's so many more details. Like, this evil monster was married, and he tried to get his wife to give him an alibi, and she refused to do it, and she told the police the truth on everything. Things he tried to cover up, she was able to show otherwise. So thank God for his wife, who sounds like a decent person, and God bless Jackie's mother, because I can't imagine, what this woman went through, and especially when they overturned the death penalty, it had to be hard to hear that. But thankfully, he got it again. So this is Jackie, and I just wanted to remember her, because I couldn't find a single YouTube video on little Jackie. And when I heard this story, I just thought, man, this little girl needs to be remembered. And I'm going to come back and bring a toy. I just ran out of the house today with nothing in my hands, and I feel really bad, but looks like she was remembered, because she's got lots of little trinkets and angels here. Beautiful little stone for her. If you come and see her, she's in section 23 here at Greenwood Cemetery in Clarksville, and she's right off the road. There's the road, and there's Jackie's grave. So rest in peace, Jackie. You are loved. You are in the arms of God, and now I know you feel nothing else. And thank God that you are surrounded by love, because you deserve every single ounce of it. Rest in peace.